Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I'm going to talk about the 10 things that I think all men should own or at least have an appreciation of by the time they reach that magical age of 40. Because I think when you turn 40, it really does become a milestone in your life journey. It seems to be that big number that looms up very quickly, unexpectedly, and then you're there. And 40, I think, represents a period of life where you're quite likely to have achieved peak maturity. You, by this point, would likely have got yourself a family. It's quite possible that you've achieved quite a level of seniority in your chosen profession. And you will have acquired many of the tastes and individual style aspects that you are likely to have come across in your life. You've discovered what you like and what you don't like by this point. But there are certain items, and not just items I would say, but also concepts. Doesn't have to be a physical thing. It can be an ideology which I think you should have reduced into your ownership, at least your orbit of appreciation, by the time you reach the age of 40. So, in swift order, here are the 10 things I think you should have by the time you reach that magic 40. Now, the first thing, you know this was coming, let's get it out the way. A decent suit of clothes, all right? Because everybody has to have something they can wear for those special occasions. Now, it doesn't have to be an actual suit. A suit being a coat and trousers cut from the same material. Let's be honest, the world is evolving. People are actually stepping away from buying suits. However, you need something that you can press into service for those formal events that you're going to encounter. So if it's a blazer, a tweed jacket, a sports jacket, which you can pair up with a nice pair of cavalry twill trousers, chinos, maybe grey flannel slacks, with a number of shirts, that is what you need at the minimum in your wardrobe for those occasions where you will be invited somewhere where dressing smart is going to be required, be it a wedding, be it a funeral. Now, if you are a dapper fellow, by all means buy a suit, and buy a suit which is a very serviceable and versatile colour. If you go for something which is charcoal grey or navy blue, which is single-breasted, 2-button, notch lapel, you're going to be covered for practically everything. And that means you won't have to decline any invitations to those society events where you need to be a little bit better dressed. So, a suit of clothes, number 1. Number 2 goes directly with that. It's going to be some dress shoes or boots in your collection. Now, I know these days everybody gets by with leather sneakers or even running shoes. However, they are absolutely no replacement for a decent pair of shoes. And I think every man should have 3, not 1, 3 pairs of good quality leather dress shoes in their collection. That's all they need. Let me tell you what you need. Firstly, a pair of black cap-toe Oxfords. It's simple, it's classic, it's elegant. It covers you for weddings, funerals, court appearances, job interviews, all of those big moments in life. It's simple, it's elegant. Buy them once, good pair, it's going to last you for a few years. Secondly, for those smarter but also casual situations, a pair of brown or burgundy brogues. Full wingtip brogues is probably the best. These are very flexible. You can wear them with jeans or you can wear them with your suit of clothes because they are interchangeable. However, not quite as clearly smart as the black cap-toe Oxfords. Again, a good pair made of leather, going to last for years, going to look good, very wearable in your collection. Buy well and they will be also extremely comfortable. Far better than sneakers, in fact. People don't realise that. And finally, I'm going to recommend a pair of leather dress boots because in those cooler months, the wetter months, the extra protection offered by a dress boot is going to be very valuable to you. So invest that little bit extra. And I would go along with something like a brown or again a burgundy in a wingtip So a brogue style dress boot. Doesn't have to be brogue. You can have plain, you can have sort of textured leather, whatever you like. But a dress boot with a semi-smart brogue and a smart black toe, cap toe Oxford is going to make sure no situation can be dealt with by the footwear in your wardrobe. Now, my next item, which I think every man should own, regardless of age in fact, is decent luggage. Because there's going to be many times in your life where hopefully travel will open up to you. It might be through your work, your profession. For sure, hopefully, it will be recreationally. And let's be honest, nothing kills the aura of being a well-dressed man like turning up for a weekend at a country house with your friends, a nice weekend away, and you're the guy carrying all your possessions in a plastic bag or some canvas tote bag, which was what you had to throw together to put your things in. Invest early on in a good leather valise or hold-all or good leather luggage for an aeroplane. The point of investing early on is these products can and do last a lifetime. So not only do they look great, they will portray your status as a well-dressed person to the people around you, but you get the benefit of a much longer period of having these items on the path through life with you. So even though it can be painful to spend the money on good quality leather luggage at an early stage in life, the sooner you get it done, the longer it's going to be looking after you as you go through life. So invest good, invest young, and make the most out of that good luggage. Now, the next thing I think a man on his journey to the big 4-0 needs to have in his collection is a good shaving kit. Because even if you sport a full set of whiskers, or like me, you're a clean-shaven man, you will need to manicure that beard or shave every day, such as I do. And in order to make sure that your shaving experience is the most enjoyable that it can be, not a chore every day, I would suggest getting good quality shaving products early on your shaving journey. Now, at the very least, you will need to own a good double-edged razor, because double-edged razors are so much better than cartridge razors. They look after your skin better, they give you a better shave, and they will also save you a fortune, because cartridge razors are just a constant drain of your funds. A good double-edged razor, invest early on, and it's going to be with you for life. And actually you can pass them on to the next generation. Now, at the same time, find out through experience and trialing things what works well for you. I personally use a nice eucalyptus and menthol pre-shave. I then enjoy shaving creams and soaps which make the actual shaving experience itself pleasurable. I've discovered what razor blades work the best on my skin through trial and error. This is all part of the shaving journey. And then after you've shaved, witch hazel or aftershave of some kind, cologne, lotion, and then finally an aftershave balm to calm the skin, an astringent which makes it a happy place after you've shaved. For me, in so doing, shaving like that means that my 10 minutes every morning when I shave, it's not a chore, it's a pleasure. It starts my day on a high. And it can be the same for you if you curate a shaving kit early on that you can take through with you. You can keep adding, changing, amending little bits that work better, or new soaps and creams as you find them. But when you've got that kit, shaving is a joy every single day. Now, at the halfway point, the fifth thing I think you should own by the age of 40 is a signature scent, right? Whether you consider yourself to be stylish or not, at the very least, you can smell good to the people around you. Research tells us that the vast majority of the population do not apply cologne or a fragrance in the morning. Being an intentionally well-dressed and stylish man means you go that little bit extra. So just get yourself a signature scent, just one, that's all you need. If you go a bit nuts like me, I've curated a collection over many years. So I have different fragrances for different moods and feelings that I have. But you only need one. If you don't currently have one and you don't know which direction to go in, get yourself down to the local high quality department store where they probably have a beauty section where you can trial and test all of the fragrances which are out on display. Spend an hour or two walking around, trying a few, spraying it on a card, sniffing it, coming back, doing it again, and you will find one or two which resonate with you, which you really love. Or maybe you've smelled somebody you know as they walk past you in a corridor. You really love their fragrance. Ask them, what's that cologne you're wearing? It's absolutely lovely. And when they tell you, track it down, try it, buy it, and then you will have a fragrance in your collection which will make you feel good and smell great. Because when you make positive olfactory memories on people, they remember it. They will always remember you as the guy who smells great. It's so much better than them remembering you as the guy who smells bad. So get yourself a signature fragrance. Now my next tip for you, number 6, is really a simple thing about an accessory which men love. And that is, get yourself a good analog wristwatch. Because in this modern world where everything is digitally enabled and, you know, technically it's not a watch, it's also a computer, it's a sports science machine, all of these gizmos, they all blend into one. I would recommend that every gentleman has an analog watch, because an analog watch tells people about you, the wearer. It tells them that you are a little bit more sophisticated than everybody else who's wearing that digital extension of their phone or computer on their wrist. You are somebody who wears a watch more than just for telling the time. It is an extension of your personality. Now, you may prefer the little sleek dress watches with a leather strap because you are a bit more of a dapper dresser. Or you may be somebody who prefers a bit more of a chunky metallic watch, which is capable and rugged and you can wear in the swimming pool or out at sea. Again, it tells people something about you. You need not spend a fortune. You can buy many analog watches. You can have quartz, you can have automatic. It depends on your style. It depends on your budget. But please step away from the Apple Watch and put something on your wrist which has a little bit more class and sophistication. Now, the next things I think you should own by the age 40 is good accessories in your wardrobe, because many modern chaps, even when they dress fairly well, they omit to pay attention to the accessories, the things which actually made the extremely well-dressed men from the golden era of men's style stand out. We have forgotten about those things in the modern world, and I am sporting many of them now. It is the tie. Many men don't even own a tie, and if they own a tie, it'll be one single coloured, rather boring tie which they wear once a year to the wedding or the funeral that they go to. There is nothing wrong in curating a little collection of ties. They don't cost hardly anything. Buy them from second-hand shops, Vinted, eBay. They can cost just pennies, and you can get great silk ties for no money at all. And they add such class to your outfit, I think. Then it's things like, as I say, a pocket square. Doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It can be just an extra square of material you've found from somewhere. But does it not enliven one's clothes when you wear these little touches, accessories which cost nothing? It can be cufflinks. If you're wearing French cuff shirts, the little reflection of your charisma in your clothing. A lapel badge, telling people that you're a member of a club or you support something. But it's just, again, a bit more character in one's outfit. All of these little things. If you're a little bit more ebullient with a man, you could wear a boutonniere, a nice flower in your lapel. All of these little things. Carry a wallet. So many men these days don't even bother carrying a leather wallet. But when you get your wallet out to pay for something, you get a credit card out and that little leather comes out, people see, here's a man of class, of elegance, of taste. Never omit the little accessories. The devil is always in the detail, and by the time you're 40 you should have understood this by now. Now, the next 3 items I think you should have by the time you're 40 are more conceptual rather than physical things, and this thing I'm going to recommend is a good command of alcohol. Now, believe me, by the time you're 40 you should know that alcohol can be a terrible enemy to you as much as it can be a good friend. You can use it to help you socialize, to network, to relieve a bit of stress. But by now, you should understand that alcohol has the power to enslave you. It has the power to do a number of things which you really don't want happening in your life. It can make you make terrible decisions many times. It can make you fat. It can damage your health. It can take your money if you overindulge. Believe me, refrainment in the world of alcohol imbibing is probably the best way to go, but it is entirely fine to have an enjoyable relationship with alcohol. But you must always remember, alcohol is a poison, and it can trip you up if you allow it to do so. And by the time you're 40, you'll have had your wilderness years behind you, where you probably went out and you enjoyed your alcohol a little bit too much from time to time, and you should have learned by those headaches and that regret the next day that alcohol is not the friend to everybody that it could be. Learn from your lessons by the time you're 40. Took me about that long to get there. Believe me, I made my mistakes with alcohol. Now, it's an arm-length relationship, and I don't let it into my life to allow its tentacles to get a grip of me. But by the time you're 40, you should know that. Now, my next tip for you, and it's the last but one, is a self-development plan is something that you should have by the time you're 40. I know it's perhaps an unconventional thing to include in a list like this. Normally people don't, but for me, I think it is essential for any man who's where he's going in life to actually have sat down and planned it out. And it's not the most complicated thing in the world. But believe me, the man who plans his future is the man who is most likely to achieve the best outcomes in life. It's not hard. Sit down with a journal, a pen, and write down where you want to be at certain milestones in your life. Maybe when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60. Think about the finances, the relationships, the health and fitness, and write them down and how you are going to achieve those things. A little bit of education that you need to get to where you want to go in your employment. Things like the hobbies that you want to have by the time you're 40. Perhaps you want to be playing golf so that they can help you network, to build relationships, to keep fit. There's loads of things that you can do. And if you don't actually have a plan, these milestones can slip you by. Health and fitness. You might say to yourself, I want to run a marathon by the time I'm 50, or a half marathon, or a 10K, depending on your individual goals. But when you sit down and write it into a personal development plan, it is so much more likely going to happen than you grasp it from the chaos and it just arrives. So please, think critically about this. Sit down, get your personal development plan written out by the time you're 40, and the future will unlikely be a lot more rosy than if you don't. Okay, we're at the last one. And this is going to be an unusual one, a little bit contentious, because when I look at videos similar to this one that I've seen on YouTube by so-called lifestyle gurus, by the time they get to number 10, they're normally getting a little bit vacuous in the things they suggest you need by the time you're 40. And they'll be talking about a good leather jacket or a nice pair of sneakers. But no, not me, folks. I have saved the best for last. The thing that I think you should have by the time you're 40 is a good personal library of books at your disposal. Believe me, the gentleman who reads is the gentleman who gets ahead in life. There is no doubt about it. But by the time you're 40, you should have done quite a lot of reading, and you should have curated a collection of books of all different types. Fictional, factual, educational, classical. Books that you can go to at periods in your life where you need a boost of culture, where you need a boost of enjoyment or entertainment or enrichment. And they should be at your disposal for you primarily. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you invite somebody into your house and they see your book collection and they see that you are a well-read gentleman, they are going to appreciate you and your character a little bit more. No doubt about it. I'm always impressed by somebody who reads widely and often. But those books are there for you, and they are there to be read, not just for display. Now, over the years, I've curated a book collection. I've given many away. I keep reading some over and over again. But you need to have that collection at your disposal as you go through life. It is without doubt the cheapest, most accessible, and most mobile tool that you will ever have on your self-development journey. A book can and often will change the life of a reader. And if you're watching this thinking, doesn't apply to me, I don't like reading, it's not my thing. Let me tell you what J.K. Rowling, one of the world's most successful authors, wrote. She said, if you don't like to read, you haven't found the right book yet. So gentlemen, get out there and read. It will enrich your life and could change your world. And it's going to be the cheapest way that you will ever find to do that. So, curate that collection. So chaps, that was the 10 things I think you should have by the time that you are 40 on your life journey. Now, the earlier you achieve these things, the better. You could be 25, you could be 30, 40, maybe you're over 40 watching this and you haven't achieved those things yet. Well, now's your chance to catch up. Nothing I've talked about today is expensive. Nothing I've talked about today should take you long to achieve if you put your mind to it. But believe me, it will open that pathway to Chap Nirvana for you if you were to do so. Now, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, click the like button, subscribe for more. You could drop me an email, drop me a question in the comments. You can support the channel by buying me a coffee or becoming a patron. I make extra videos for my patrons, and I'd love to have you in my patron group, my extended family. So, until the next time, take care, work on that list, and I'll see you again very soon.